Welcome back for another deep dive. This time, we're going to be delving into the life of Zaynab bint Khuzayma,
Oh, interesting.
one of the Prophet Muhammad's wives.
Okay.
Her story is not as well known as maybe some of the others,
Yeah.
but I think that's what makes it all the more interesting to kind of unpack.
Right.
For this one, we're going to be focusing on a single lecture and just kind of see like what we can glean from it about her life.
Yeah. And it's pretty remarkable
Yeah.
what we can find out about her, even from just limited information.
Yeah.
I mean, even just looking at her nickname, Masakin, Mother of the Poor.
That's a powerful title. And to think she earned that even before converting to Islam.
I know, right?
Like that wasn't tied to any particular
Right.
religious belief or
Exactly. Like,
actually,
what kind of person, even before coming to a new faith,
yeah.
earns that kind of reputation, right?
Yeah, it really speaks to her character.
It does. And it kind of tells you that this generosity wasn't
Yeah.
some temporary thing or a means to an end. It was like, really? Like her core essence
Mhm.
and sources, like, highlight just how pervasive this was.
Yeah.
Like, think about this. It said that no food stayed in her house for more than a day
Wow.
because she would give it all away, and often she would even sleep hungry herself.
Wow. That's incredible, that level of selflessness.
I know.
And it's not just like a one-time thing.
Right.
It continued through different phases of her life.
Exactly.
Mecca, Medina,
Mhm.
even after she married the Prophet.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty remarkable.
It is. It kind of challenges us to think, what does a life
Yeah.
truly dedicated to giving look like?
Yeah, and it really pushes back on any notion that, like, this was for social standing.
Right.
Or for any kind of personal gain.
Exactly. It makes you wonder,
Yeah.
what can we learn from this kind of unwavering commitment to others?
It's a good question, and one that we'll explore as we go deeper.
Definitely.
The lecture also kind of gets into her family connections, which are really fascinating.
It's amazing, the web of relationships surrounding her. Like her half-sister, Mamuna bint al-Harith.
Okay.
She also became a wife of the Prophet.
Wow.
And then Zaynab was also a sister to Salma bint Umays,
Okay.
who was married to Hamza,
Right.
a really prominent figure in early Islam.
So even before her own marriage,
Yeah.
to the Prophet, there are all these connections.
There are all these connections.
To him through family.
Exactly. And then if you go even further back, their mother, Hind bint Auf,
Okay.
had several other daughters
Okay.
who married significant figures in the early Muslim community.
So it's like a whole family
It is
at the center of everything that's happening.
right in the heart of early Islam. Yeah,
It's amazing.
it is.
And speaking of relationships, her own marriage history before the Prophet is also really interesting.
Yes, yes.
She was married 3 times before.
3 times,
Right.
and each one of those husbands
Yeah.
had a connection to either the Prophet or other key figures.
Right.
So, for example, the first one, Tufail ibn al-Harith,
Okay.
he was a cousin of the Prophet.
I see a pattern.
Yeah,
Slap.
it's all very interconnected.
Yeah.
And then, after Tufail,
Yeah.
she married his brother, Ubaidah ibn al-Harith,
Okay.
who was a very well-respected companion of the Prophet,
Mm.
but he tragically died at the Battle of Badr.
To lose a spouse in battle, and like so early on in the history of the community,
Yeah.
that must have been incredibly difficult.
Absolutely. Imagine navigating that
Yeah.
loss at that time.
Yeah.
Then, her third husband, Abdullah ibn Jash,
Okay.
another cousin of the Prophet.
It's like everyone's related.
I know, and he was also the brother of Zaynab bin Jash.
Okay, wait. There's a lot of Zaynabs.
Yeah.
So her third husband had a sister who also became a wife of the Prophet.
Yes.
Okay, wow.
Quite a fascinating detail, right?
Yeah.
But sadly, he also, Abdullah ibn Jash, was killed in battle,
Oh, wow.
this time at the Battle of Uhud.
So she faced like loss and then resilience.
It's a recurring theme
Recurring theme
in her life.
It's heartbreaking, but it also makes her eventual marriage to the Prophet like
Yeah.
all the more significant because it's against this backdrop of loss and,
Yeah.
the community trying to like
Support.
support those who were
So
less kind.
Exactly. And that's actually when the Prophet proposed to her
Okay.
in Ramadan, 4 years after the Hijrah.
Okay.
And this was a time when the Muslim community was still really grappling
Right.
with the losses at Uhud.
Yeah.
So there was a very conscious effort to care for the widows.
Wow. So this marriage wasn't just a personal union.
Right.
It was like reflecting these larger.
Yes, social
Sure.
dynamics
Yeah.
at play.
And do we know anything about like the specifics of their marriage? Like, was there a mar?
Yes, sources mention that the Mar was 400 dirhams
Okay.
for Zaynab.
Okay.
And of course, the mar being that dowry that signifies the husband's commitment to providing for his wife.
Right.
So it's interesting to see those details, those little glimpses into the customs of the time.
It helps us connect with the past in a way.
It does.
Right.
It does.
And of course, we know that their time together was tragically cut short.
Yes, very short. She died just 3 months
3 months.
after marrying the prophet.
Wow. That's such a brief time. But
It has
even
been a
within those months, it seems like she made quite an impact.
Oh, absolutely.
There's this one story that really stood out to me that I think shows her character.
Okay.
You know, the prophet was deeply touched when she gave away all the food in their home,
Oh, wow.
leaving them with nothing.
So even the prophet,
Yeah.
who is known for his immense generosity,
Especially during Ramadan.
especially during Ramadan, was moved by her actions.
Yeah.
This shows like a next level
Yeah.
selflessness here.
It's a powerful image. Like, even married to the prophet,
yeah.
her commitment to helping others never wavered.
It really didn't.
It really makes you wonder, like, what was their home life like?
Right.
These two individuals who are so dedicated to generosity,
Oh.
living and interacting.
That's something to think about
Yeah.
as we learn more about her story. But though their time together was short,
Yeah.
she received a really unique honor after her death.
Oh, that's right. The prophet personally buried her.
Exactly. She was only the second wife
Wow.
after Khadijah to receive that honor.
It speaks volumes
It does.
about their relationship. And
Yeah.
her final resting place is also a significant honor.
It is. She was the first of the prophet's wives to be buried in al-Baqi,
Okay.
the graveyard in Medina,
Mm-hmm.
and eventually all of his wives, except for Khadijah and Maimuna,
Okay.
would be laid to rest there in a row with Zaynab at the head.
So she's given a place of honor, like amongst
Yes,
the prophet's wives.
a testament to her character
Yeah.
and legacy.
A legacy firmly rooted in generosity, in being masakin. And the prophet himself said that nothing extends a person's lifespan like charity.
Now that's an interesting connection, isn't it?
Yeah.
Could Zaynab's extraordinary generosity
Yeah.
have played a role in the blessings and the honors that she received,
Mm-hmm.
despite her short life?
That's a good question.
It is.
It makes you think about, like, the deeper impact
It does.
of our actions
Absolutely.
and the ripple effects they create.
It really does. Makes you wonder, what if those little acts of kindness that we do
Mm-hmm.
have a greater impact than we can even imagine?
It's humbling, right? Like,
Yeah.
even if we never see, like, the full consequences of our actions,
Yeah.
the potential for good is there.
It is.
And I think Zaynab's story isn't just a historical account.
Right.
It's really about trying to find, like, the wisdom that we can apply in our lives today.
It's challenging us to think about what it means to really embody generosity,
Yeah.
not just as a one-off thing,
Right.
but it's like a fundamental
A way of being.
a way of being. Yeah.
I like that. Generosity as a way of being.
Mhm.
It's a much deeper concept than just, like, donating money or volunteering.
Absolutely. It's about cultivating a mindset of giving,
Yeah.
of constantly being on the lookout for how you can help,
Mm-hmm.
how you can ease suffering, how you can share whatever you have,
Right.
even when it feels like we have so little to offer.
Right. Recognizing that interconnectedness, like
Right.
our actions, no matter how small, impact others.
Exactly.
So using Zaynab's life as, like, a model,
Mhm.
how can we translate generosity as a way of being into something practical?
That's the question, right? And there's no one right answer.
Yeah.
But I think she's challenging us to look beyond the obvious.
Okay.
Poverty isn't limited to just financial hardship.
Right.
There's a poverty of spirit,
Mm-hmm.
a poverty of opportunity, a poverty of connection.
So it really broadens, like, the scope of what it means to be masakin today.
Exactly.
It could be advocating for social justice, fighting for equality, being a mentor to someone who needs it.
Being there for a friend who's struggling,
Right.
volunteering your time
Yeah.
for a cause you believe in.
Suddenly, like, the possibilities seem...
Endless.
Yeah.
It's not about replicating her exact actions,
Right.
but about adopting that same spirit
Mhm.
of selfless giving.
Yeah, we don't need wealth or a platform
That's right.
to make a difference.
And even small, consistent acts of kindness
Mhm.
done with, genuine intention,
Yeah.
create ripples that go way beyond ourselves.
It's a reminder that each of us has the potential to be like a force for good,
Yes.
just like Zaynab.
Absolutely.
And even though we have limited information
Yeah.
about her life, it does raise some interesting questions.
Yeah.
Like, we know that she was renowned for her generosity,
Right.
even before converting to Islam.
Right.
Like, what factors in her early life do you think might have shaped that?
Now that you mention it, it is kind of fascinating to think about,
Yeah.
like, what leads to developing that kind of profound compassion and giving.
Yeah.
Was it her family? Was it, like, a specific experience?
Mm-hmm.
Or was it just some, like, innate quality?
Nature versus nurture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's another question that's been on my mind, too.
Fair.
She was married to several men closely connected to the Prophet,
Right.
2 of whom died in battle.
Yeah.
Like, how did she navigate those losses and find the strength to, like, rebuild her life?
Right.
It's a really powerful question.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we might not ever have the full answer.
Right.
But we can try to imagine the emotional toll
Yeah.
of those experiences, the resilience she must have had
Yeah.
to go through such hardship.
It reminds us that even in the face of adversity, like, hope and healing are possible.
They are.
And then her subsequent marriage to the Prophet becomes even more
Poignant.
Yeah.
When seen in that light.
Yeah.
Like a real testament to her spirit and her capacity to find love
Yeah.
after those trials.
It also makes me think about, like, the importance of community.
Absolutely.
Especially during times of loss.
Yes.
She clearly had, like, a network of family and friends who were supporting her through it all.
It underscores how vital it is to have people you can lean on when things get tough.
When life throws those curveballs.
Exactly.
Wow.
We're not meant to go through challenges alone.
No.
And Zaynab's story really highlights the power of human connection, the strength we get from each other when we need it the most.
And maybe that's another aspect of what it means to be Masakin, like offering that support and companionship to those who are struggling.
Absolutely. A beautiful thought.
Yeah, and I think that brings us to a natural point to pause
Okay.
and reflect on everything that we've discussed so far.
Sounds good.
We've learned about Zaynab Bint Khuzayma, a woman whose generosity and compassion,
Left a mark.
really left a mark, even though her life was short. Yeah, it's amazing how just, like, one source can give us so much information.
I know, right? It's like this one lecture has really helped us paint like a picture of her and who she was.
A portrait of
life.
It is, and it really highlights, her character.
Yeah, and as we've been discussing, like, her life offers some valuable lessons for us today.
Oh, absolutely.
Like her dedication to helping others, her embodiment of, like, being Masakin.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder that, like, true fulfillment comes from making a positive difference.
Yeah, it makes you think about your own life. Like, how can I be more generous?
Right.
How can I embrace that giving spirit?
Yeah, exactly.
Not just with, like, material things.
Right.
But with my time, my talents.
Yeah.
My compassion.
It's like a gentle nudge to look beyond ourselves.
Yeah.
And see how we can contribute to something bigger.
It is. It is.
So easy to get, caught up in our own lives.
But Zaynab's story is a good reminder that even those, like, small acts of generosity can have that ripple effect.
They do. It's a powerful legacy.
It is. But you know what? There's one final thought I wanted to share before we wrap up.
Okay.
We've been talking about her generosity and selflessness and her commitment to helping others.
Yeah.
But it's also important to remember that even the most compassionate people have their limits.
Right. We often put figures, like, from history up on a pedestal.
We do. But they were human.
They were human, just like us.
Like us.
So are you saying that even, like, Masakin, the mother of the poor, must had times when she felt exhausted or frustrated or maybe even resentful?
Yeah, I mean, it's only human, right?
It is.
To feel overwhelmed.
Of course.
Or to feel like maybe our efforts are too small.
Yeah, to question, like, can I really make a difference?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder that even the most selfless people
have vulnerability.
They do, and I think recognizing that makes her story even more inspiring.
More powerful.
Because it reminds us that generosity isn't about being perfect. It's about just showing up every day.
Yeah.
Doing what you can.
Keep giving.
Keep giving.
Even when it's hard.
Even when it's hard.
Keep showing up.
Keep showing up, exactly.
Yeah.
Because those little acts of kindness can create, like, a chain reaction. And who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe our efforts will inspire others just like
she inspires us.
Yeah.
That's a great point to end on.
It is.
And to our listener, we want to leave you with this.
Yeah.
How will you embody the spirit of Masakin in your own life?
It's a good question.
Yeah. What small acts of generosity can you fit into your day?
It's about those small steps.
Yeah.
Remember, even the tiniest ripple can make a big wave.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the life of Zaynab bint Khuzayma.
It was a pleasure. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep giving the